Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Dan with Dan's 30-foot dory build. I'm back. Okay, so trying to make the long story real short. I wanted to put another layer of fiberglass on the bottom of the boat because I just thought it was just not enough. A couple of subscribers made comments and they agreed with me. So I had one subscriber come back at me and said, don't fiberglass the whole bottom of the boat if you're just looking for something to protect the surface. You know, like taking it on and off a trailer. Maybe rubbing up against a stone in the water if it comes to that. And he suggested what I do is I put, I believe the word is strikers. And obviously I know what a striker is. I was trying to avoid putting strikers on this project for the sole purpose that Jeff Spira said you don't need them. A lot of people say when you take a flat bottom boat and go into a turn, regardless if it's left-hand or right-handed turn, when you go into a turn with a flat bottom boat, it just doesn't turn. It kind of slides into the turn and turns around. So it takes you a little longer to turn. And then they're turning around at the same time saying, well, if you put these strikers on the bottom, they'll protect your bottom of your boat a bit. And, it might even help turn better, turn sharper when you want it to. So, I don't know. I've never had a boat in the water with either system in place to really know the difference. But I understand the theory. Okay? So, what I'm out here doing today, oh my God, here I'm doing it again. I am so sorry. I have picked up 9 new subscribers in the last 3 weeks. Again, at 141 subscribers. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. I can only hope, once again, I'll repeat it, I can keep you entertained. Alrighty? There was this one fellow, and the only reason why I know his name is because he contacted me and did a little bit of texting, and it's Peter from Finland. Peter, thank you very much for joining the team here. Peter turned around and told me that he was pulled between buying a boat and not wanting to take out a mortgage on a boat, and a lot of us understand what that means, and or building one. So I believe he said he was going to build a 20-footer, if I remember what he said. I think it was a 19 or a 20-footer, and he said he had two frames built already, and he noticed that people are using epoxy and or construction grade glue to glue these together. So and he was using something like I think, if I remember again, he was using some type of glue anyway. So he was going to take these two frames apart, and I can only assume he was going to go with the epoxy or he was going to go with the construction grade glue, which is what I used to actually install all my wood on my frames, was the construction grade glue. And nothing's come apart yet. So, you know what I mean? Nothing's come apart yet. Okay? So, yeah, Peter, thanks for contacting me and sharing with me what you're doing. He was also planning of documenting his build, regardless how he does it. I also asked him, well, it comes down to it. You got something going. Give me a text because, I check out everything anybody's building when it comes to boats. I subscribe. Anything on boats, I subscribe. There might be something there or a part of it there that is really informative, and you don't want to lose it. You want to find it easy. What do? You subscribe it, right? So you can go back into it, pick it out, go back to what it is you want to look at. So anyway, most of us know that. Now, to my new subscribers, you'll notice my videos are pretty well rough cut, which basically means I do not edit my videos because I do not have the equipment to do so. So sometimes I have to do what I'm doing in parts. So we're going to call this part 1, okay? And I just cut some 2x4 down, pieces I had in my shed here. So at $9 a piece, I just saved $30. By not having to go out and spend it, I had it here. So I'm going to give you a little walking tour here. I want you to know that after I cut these pieces, I'm sanding them down, and I'm using my trustworthy Makita 4-inch vertical sander, and it goes stink on these pieces. I sand down the crown, and anyway, I'll show you what I'm doing, okay? And I'm going to thank Mike for that one more time. And we're going to get to it. So this video here, this is video number 1 of strikers, okay? And I've cut them down already. And by the time I finished cutting them, I realized, oh my God, I got to go get my camera because I'm not videotaping this. I used the word videotape. I apologize. Video. And we'll just go over the pieces a little bit. I'll do a little bit of sanding and get the other piece in here, sand it up, and give you something to see for a few minutes. And that'll probably be the end of the video number 1 on preparing the strikers to put on the boat. Now, I figure all I need is 1 16-footer down the middle. And I'm going to put a couple of 8-footers on each side of the 16-footer. I haven't decided if I want to put 4 or 2, which is 1 on each side of the 16-footer. The 16-foot striker is actually going to be taller than the all the other strikers. And I'll show you that when I pick up the camera. So we're going to go bounce around a bit here. I had to tally up what I had in scrap. Now, I got enough scrap for my 16-footer. That means 2 runs of 16 feet, which is, right? So, 32 feet, right? Just in case you were wondering. And I got enough material to do fiberglass the center one down. I'll also be mixing up epoxy when I go to apply. I'll be videotaping this. I'll also be epoxying the wood and then weighting it down on the boat. I'm not putting no screws into this, okay? I'm going to weigh it down, square it up, weigh it down with epoxy. I'm going to let that set up. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to use my 2 layers of 6-ounce mat over the striker. Yeah, I got to slow down a bit when I'm talking. I get ahead of myself. My last video I made a few comments on something and it wasn't really quite right. I'm using 6-ounce material. No, what did I say? 6.5-ounce something. Anyway, you're getting it all in true blue here. If I say something wrong, take it with a grain of salt. You might know what I'm talking about anyway. So, yeah, let's go for a tour of what I've done already. We'll walk around here, and I'm going to try to do this as best I can. Let's rip on down over here. Okay, so there's my first piece. Now, that's 8 feet long. I just finished rounding it here. See that? Now, of course, I'm rounding it because when you lay the mat over it, if there's an edge, it may not go down very well. So by rounding it, it'll just take the shape. You know that? Okay. Now down here, see that there? That's what it looks like before I sand it. Now, my other one has a peak on it. Yeah, that's right, a peak. I kind of screwed up. Not totally, just kind of. And I'm going to bring this over here. Now, if you can see this one, it kind of narrows out in the middle down there. And it's almost a peak here. So what happened was when I was cutting my 45, and I was using the little guide notch in the guide plate of the skill saw, I was running it on the outside edge of that guide, which put me further in. So when I went to cut this other piece, I used the inside of the guide, right? And I ended up with almost 1/4 of an inch space between after the cut was out. So it makes a difference where you lay out your saw, okay? It makes a big difference where you lay out your saw. And if you're going to follow the saw, here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you for those that don't have a saw. I got 7 of them, so yeah, I know. I used to be in the wood business before I gave it all up. Okay. There's a notch there. I don't know if you can see it. See this? See that there? See that little notch? Right there. Okay? Right there. Now, if you, using that guide, if you use the bottom side of the notch, or you use the top side of the notch, that's almost a 1/4 of an inch difference. And that's what I have here, 1/4 of an inch. Sorry about all the, there we go. Sorry about the movement. So it's about 1/4 of an inch. So my first piece, no, actually my second piece came out really nice, and it gave me that 1/4 inch wide going down the middle. And I'm using this belt sander, and basically I'm going over the top and I'm just rolling the belt sander like this, and it's doing a really nice job. I don't want to take a lot off, I just want to round it out a bit. Okay, so what I'm about to do here is I'm going to put this camera down, and I'm going to set you guys up somewhere so you can just watch me do this. I might as well do a little bit and give you something to watch here. 141 subscribers. That is wild. Like, I know some people have thousands, but they definitely have different topic than what I'm doing here. You know, here, I'm going to put this down here. Sorry. Going to put you down over here, guys. Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm just going to leave you here, okay? I'll just take a few seconds out to sand out this part here. The table is hollow underneath here, so technically I should be putting that vise the other way around, but then I'll go to take it off, I got to unscrew it too far, so I'm trying to screw it at the corner of the table. Now, did you see that? That clamp popped off at the end. That's an auto pop-off clamp. Right. All right. So for me, that's good enough. Now, I had somebody tell me, just take a 2x4, screw it down, and fiberglass it. I thought that was too much. In my mind, that was just too much. So I spent the last 2 days kind of thinking about this. I'm on holidays again, actually. Starting today, it's Monday. Was it the 17th today? Yeah, and I couldn't just turn around and just screw 2x4s to the bottom of it. First of all, I didn't want to breach the fiberglass that's there. Ruby, please. Video. Video. Ruby. She's talking to the neighbor's dog. Sorry about that. Those of you that have been with me for a while. Now I have 2 dogs, and that's Ruby, standing guard. One dog barks here, the next door barks, the other one down 3 doors, they all start singing. It lasts for about 2-3 minutes. Ruby, good girl, up, up. She knows what that means, and she doesn't like it. So anyway, I rounded out this first one. I'm going to put you back down and attempt to round the other one. Well, actually, since I've got you right here. Can you see how that flattened out here? See, it's kind of flattened out. Kind of flattened out here. And then it's real skinny here. And watch this. It'll open up a little here. I think what I did there is I was following one side of the groove guide on the saw. And then I had to stop to reclamp the piece to continue the saw cut. And I started on the other side. I know that sounds stupid. That was my first attempt here, of course. And then I realized, ooh, I'm on the wrong side. So I forced the saw to go over and start cutting where it was supposed to, which it did. As you can see, it opens up at the end. So I've got a real pointy crown over here where the 2 cuts meet. So what all I'm going to try to do here is just round that off, because I got to butt these 2 together when I put them on the boat. You following me? So give me a second. I'll strap her down and I'll start sanding it out, and we'll see what we get. There's no editing here, guys. You get everything how it happens, okay? Maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not. By the way, the saw table here, let me adjust this a little. That saw table I wanted to use to cut this morning just pooched out on me. The motor went on it. It's an old beaver styled, saw. I mean, it's ancient. My buddy gave it to me about 3-4 years ago, and it's been really good. I went to use it this morning, and the motor started smoking. And I just got to admit that it's done. So that'll probably going into the trash very shortly. Meanwhile, it makes for a good worktop. And it's very, very heavy. Okay. That's wonky. I was watching the YouTube the other day, and the guy makes these blocks. He cuts a V out in the middle of it. Simple. So when you clamp something like this down, you put the block on it. You got a flat surface to clamp it down. I'm gonna have to make some of those. It's not like I gotta use them every day, but you know what? You throw them in the box, one or two of them, and at least you have them there. If you have to hold something on that shape like this, you don't have to fight, with your clamps just falling off and stuff due to the vibration. There's an idea. All right. All right, so this is the one I cut a little tight. You can see that wave down there? Can you see that wave down there? Oh, about 2 and 3 feet down. The way it kind of curves in. That's where I had to make my correction. But I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm using this piece anyway. So anyway, there you go. It's curved. It's cut at an angle. I don't know if this is the best way to do it. And I said, I don't want a 2x4 block sitting on the bottom of the boat. But these are just more or less for me to protect the bottom from being rubbed up against stuff. And they're 1.5 inches thick. I figure they're thick enough. So let's see if I can demonstrate what I've done here. I'm gonna see that should work. Yeah, beautiful day today. It's not too hot. We've had a fair share of rain, but hey, a little rain must fall on everyone. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, maybe I'll peek it out the other way. Nope. That'll do. Okay. So basically, they'll butt right down here. This will go down the center, obviously down the center of the boat, the bottom, and that'll be the first striker that I will put into place. And once it's glued down, I may take the belt sander and just ease that transition between the two pieces, so they're not too far off from each other. It won't be very much. Now, you know me, I don't like to waste stuff, so here's what I'm going to do. That one's no good. Check this out. And these are already kind of rounded anyway, because it's a, what do they call that? A manufactured edge. So those are 8 feet long. The tops are rounded on it anyway. Those are the cutoffs, obviously, from the edge of the large ones. And I think I'm using these as strikers on each side of this one. So they're not as tall, but they're still there. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen bottom of boats before. I mean, I'm 63, I have been around the water, and I've gone to see boats, and I've seen people with boats, something they call John boats. They got like a striker system going under there, and they're not big, there's just a bunch of them, right? And that's to help track that little short John boat in the water. And I'm watching videos, and these guys are maneuvering pretty good, so I don't know. So I have my last video. Most of my videos are American, right? I'm not too sure where they're coming from, but they're from all over the United States. And my last video, I couldn't shake using the word y'all. Y'all know what I mean? Hey, y'all. And they say this all the time, I think what it means simply is, hey, guys, hey, y'all, right? It's not a bad word. But here I am using it in my last video. I think I abused it. Y'all. And it just came natural, I guess. I don't know. I've got an English fellow, a good friend of mine. And sometimes I use his terminologies. And I know most of them, and I know what they mean. And I shouldn't be using them, I think. As a Canadian, I don't speak British. But man, some of them are good. Some of them are really good. So anyway, guys, that's what I'm going to do. Now, I did note the fact that I am going to taper the front. The fronts of them I'm going to taper in a 45. So as it cuts into the water, it's not hitting the front of the striker. The small ones also, all the fronts, I'm going to cut a 45 and do the same thing so the water can flow over them. So from what I can see right now, I'll probably end up with the 16-foot striker. I'm going to end up with 2 8s. Now, if I have enough room, I still have to tarp on the boat. Now, if I go down the middle there, and I put the other 2 on each side, if I still have some room to stick maybe one in the back off to the side, I'd probably use this last one here. Same deal. Cut it in half and make a 4-foot striker. So basically they're dropping in length. Center's long, the sides are shorter, and then I'll possibly throw these in, cut it in half at 4 feet and put them in the back, coming off the back. So there'll be some grab there, and I'll feel a lot better. I have something between the bottom of the boat and whatever there is to be had out there, be it the trailer or at the boat launch. Oh yeah, I was going to mention something. You'll never see it. You can't see it. But when I was fiberglassing this boat, the front end here, right in here, I've got 7 layers of scrap fiberglass right in here, right in the front. About up to here. I just had leftovers. I just kept on throwing it in the front. I just thought, the way the front, when you come into shore, the fronts usually get beaten, you hit the gravel and stuff like that. So I actually have seven layers of glass in here, going right to about here, right in here. Just scrap pieces, right? I kept on, I got scrap. Oh, I know where I'll put it. And I put it here, and I put it on the side here, and you know what I mean? So I got a little protection in the front. Now, another thing I was thinking of doing is getting a piece of wood and shaping it on my belts. Shape it like round, kind of lengthy but round, and mount it on the front and fiberglass that in here. Fiberglass it here somewhere. So when you come in the shore, the first thing it would hit would be that mount, right? I mean, it's not going to be 6 inches tall, just 1.5 inches high, and just taper back a bit and install it not right in the nose, but maybe back here somewhere. So if I come in nose-wise to let people off on the shore, I won't be afraid to hit the shoreline. It'll wear down that bulge, instead of coming in on the bottom of the boat itself. So I may be talking for nothing. I'm working here. I'm working here. Oh, there's my motorcycle there. Oh, beautiful little bike. I got my Harley all squared up. Finally, after 11 years, I took my 2-into-1 pipes off. And boy, they were loud. Very loud, but they're very nice, deep yeah, I decided to go to the stock pipe again, and they sold in a day. You know, people know when they're good. I gave them away for $60. Just help somebody out, right? Actually, the fellow that was bought them off me was putting them on a crossbones, just like I have, but has his bike laid out differently. And he has two separate pipes, and they drop, you know, right on the side, and they're really loud. And he wanted to get away with that, but he didn't want to spend $1,200 buying a whole pipe, not knowing what it sounded like. And that's exactly what I did when I originally bought the pipe. I found somebody who actually had that pipe, and I love the sound. So, you know, give somebody a break, right? $60, there you go. Matter of fact, they were standing there. They couldn't believe I was selling them for $60. So I smiled at the guy, and I said, you want to give me $150 for him? I'll take $150 for him. He shelled out the $60. I said, have a good day. I said, thank you very much. Come back again some other time. So I sold them. Now, every time somebody comes in the yard, they see this boat here. They go, what, you building a boat? I said, yeah. How big is that boat? It's big. I go, well, it's 30 foot. I can't believe it. And they look at it, around it for a few minutes, you know, and they, okay, and then it wears off and goes on with their own business. Okay, I like the attention, all right? I like that attention. It makes me feel like it's all worth it. Okay, so this is going to be video number 1. It's 30 minutes long already. This is video number 1 on building the strikers. So I cut them down, I sand them down. You saw me sanding them down, so you see where I'm at. You now know I'm going to use 2 pieces in the center, 2 shorter pieces on the side, and possibly 2 4-footers in the back. And that's the way I'm doing this, okay? So wish me luck with it. I'll get them fastened down, no problem. Let's just hope they do what they're supposed to do when they're all installed. Yeah. I'm moving around here because the sun is right in front of me, and I notice every time I bring the camera around, it gets dark, and I don't like to do that. So 141 subscriber, guys. Thank you very much. You know, it's great. I'm glad. Oops, excuse me. I'm moving around here. I'm really glad that I'm showing some interest. Some people are really interested in what I'm doing. I've just got a handful of people that actually leave comments. Actually, they're regular commenters. Do you know what that means? They seem to have input on a regular basis, which is great. And it's fantastic. Wow, 141 subscribers. I couldn't believe it when I went in there. Like the week or 2 before, like I'm a little confused. Like I don't keep track of time like I used to. I just don't worry about it. But I'm sure it was 2 weeks ago I went in there and I checked it, and it said 100. I think it was 132. Then I go in again and it's 100. Well, I'm sure it's 141. And holy smokes. So, Peter, you keep track. There we go again. Keep track of what you're doing, Peter. Let us know. Let me know. Text me and let me know if you're going to start doing a video, or if you're just going to do the whole video and just throw it on YouTube one day when you're all done. Whatever you're doing, you know. I'm always into this stuff. And really, thank you very much for looking me up. We had a really nice chat. And, yeah. I hate to see what those dogs would do if they got loose. I really do. They scare me sometimes. Ruby, up. Anyway, guys, this is Dan with Dan's 30-foot dory build. This is video number 1 on making strikers. Video number 2 will be, here I go again, installing the strikers, and bring you more footage. Thank you very much. Have yourself an excellent day. Later.